It isn't what you have or who you are or where you are or what you are doing that makes you happy or unhappy. It is what you think about it. You want to keep happiness, you have to share it. Happiness doesn't depend on any external conditions. It is governed by our mental attitude. Are you bored with life? Then throw yourself into some work you believe in with all your heart. Live for it, die for it, and you will find happiness that you had thought could never be yours. Are you bored with life? Then throw yourself into some work you believe in with all your heart. Live for it, die for it, and you will find the happiness that you had thought could never be yours. We may not be saintly enough to love our enemies, but for the sake of our own health and happiness, let's at least forgive them and forget them. Actions speak louder than words, and a smile says, I like you. You make me happy. I'm glad to see you. You want to keep happiness, you have to share it. When we hate our enemies, we are giving them power over us. Power over our sleep, our appetites, our blood pressure, our health, and our happiness. Everybody in the world is seeking happiness, and there is one sure way to find it. That is by controlling your thought. Happiness doesn't depend on outward conditions. It depends on inner conditions. The essence of all art is to have pleasure in giving pleasure. Happiness doesn't depend on outward conditions. It depends on inner conditions. Success is getting what you want. Happiness is wanting what you get. Act as if you were already happy, and that will tend to make you happy. Actions speak louder than words, and a smile says, I like you. You make me happy. I am glad to see you. It isn't what you have, or who you are, or where you are, or what you are doing that makes you happy or unhappy. It is what you think about. One reason why birds and horses are not unhappy is because they are not trying to impress other birds and horses. When we hate our enemies, we are giving them power over us, power over our sleep, our appetites, our blood pressure, our health, and our happiness. First ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen? Then prepare to accept it. Then proceed to improve on the worst. It isn't what you have or who you are or where you are or what you are doing that makes you happy or unhappy. You have it easily in your power to increase the sum total of this world's happiness now. How? By giving a few words of sincere appreciation to someone who is lonely or is discouraged. Perhaps you will forget tomorrow the kind words you say today, but the recipient may cherish them over a lifetime. Person who seeks all their applause from outside has their happiness in another's keeping. Your purpose is to make your audience see what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt. Relevant detail, couched in concrete, colorful language, is the best way to recreate the incident as it happened and to picture it for the audience. Many people think that if they were only in some other place or had some other job, they would be happy. Well, that is doubtful. So get as much happiness out of what you are doing as you can, and don't put off being happy until some future date. 3/4 of the people you will meet tomorrow are hungering and thirsting for sympathy. Give it to them. They will love you. Don't be afraid of enemies who attack you. Be afraid of the friends who flatter you. Every man I meet is my superior in some way. In that, I learn of him. Action seems to follow feeling, but really action and feeling go together. And by regulating the action, which is under the more direct control of the will, we can indirectly regulate the feeling, which is not. The successful man will profit from his mistakes and try again in a different way. Those convinced against their will are of the same opinion still. People like people who help them like themselves. Winning friends begins with friendliness. The person who goes farthest is generally the one who is willing to do and dare. The sure-thing boat never gets far from shore. There's only one way to get anybody to do anything, and that is by making the other person want to do it. You can close more business in 2 months by becoming interested in other people. You can in 2 years by trying to get people interested in you. If you believe in what you are doing, then let nothing hold you up in your work. Much of the best work of the world has been done against seeming impossibilities. Thing is, to get the work done. Be concerned with your character than with your reputation. Your character is what you are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are. Arouse in the other person an eager want. He who can do this has the whole world with him. He who cannot walks a lonely way. There are always 3 speeches for every one you actually gave: the one you practiced, the one you gave, and the one you wish you gave. It is the way we react to circumstances that determines our feelings. There are 4 ways, and only 4 ways, in which we have contact with mind. We are evaluated and classified by these 4 contacts: what we do, how we look, what we say, and how we say it. Only the prepared speaker deserves to be confident. Be more concerned with your character than with your reputation, for your character is what you are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are. Instead of condemning people, let's try to understand them. Let's try to figure out why they do what they do. That's a lot more profitable and intriguing than criticism, and it breeds sympathy, tolerance, and kindness. To know all is to forgive all. 45. When dealing with people, remember you are not dealing with creatures of logic, but with creatures bristling with prejudice and motivated by pride and vanity. Tell the audience what you're going to say. Say it, then tell them what you've said. The difference between appreciation and flattery, that is simple. One is sincere and the other insincere. One comes from the heart out, the other from the teeth out. One is unselfish, the other selfish. One is universally admired, the other universally condemned. You can conquer almost any fear if you will only make up your mind to do so. Remember, fear doesn't exist anywhere except in the mind. When the fierce, burning winds blow over our lives and we cannot prevent them, let us too accept the inevitable and then get busy and pick up the pieces. No matter what happens, always be yourself. You can't win an argument. You can't, because if you lose it, you lose it. And if you win it, you lose it. Flattery is telling the other person precisely what he thinks about himself. Our fatigue is often caused not by work but by worry, frustration, and resentment. One of the tragic things I know about human nature is that all of us tend to put off living. We are all dreaming of some magical rose garden over the horizon, instead of enjoying the roses that are blooming outside our windows today. Control your temper. Remember, you can measure the size of a person by what makes him or her angry. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Be wiser than other people if you can, but do not tell them so. Names are the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Talk to someone about themselves and they'll listen for hours. Flaming enthusiasm, backed by hoarse sense and persistence, is the quality that most frequently makes for success. Even God doesn't propose to judge a man till his last days. Why should you and I? Inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. You want to conquer fear, do not sit home and think about it. Go out and get busy. Let's not allow ourselves to be upset by small things we should despise and forget. Remember, life is too short to be little. The world is full of people who are grabbing and self-seeking. So the rare individual who unselfishly tries to serve others has an enormous advantage. If you are not in the process of becoming the person you want to be, you are automatically engaged in becoming the person you don't want. We all have possibilities we don't know about. We can do things we don't even dream we can do. If you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. One of the worst features about worrying is that it destroys our ability to concentrate. Pay less attention to what men say. Just watch what they do. Half the worry in the world is caused by people trying to make decisions before they have sufficient knowledge on which to base a decision. When we stop fighting the inevitable, we release energy, which enables us to create a richer life. As much as we thirst for approval, we dread condemnation. When we have accepted the worst, we have nothing more to lose, and that automatically means we have everything to gain. Nothing can bring you peace but yourself. The only way on earth to influence other people is to talk about what they want and show them how to get it. Every day is a new day to a wise man. Take a chance. All life is a chance. The man who goes furthest is generally the one who is willing to do and dare. Let's not imitate others. Let's find ourselves and be ourselves. Only knowledge that is used sticks in your mind. Once a decision is carefully reached, get busy carrying out your decision and dismiss all anxiety of the outcome. There is only one way under high heaven to get anybody to do anything, and that is by making the other person want. Ask questions instead of giving orders. I am deeply convinced that our peace of mind and the joy we get out of living depends not on where we are, or what we have, or who we are, solely on our mental attitude. To be interesting, be interested. Instead of the question, what must I do for my employer, substitute, what can I do? Every successful person loves the game. Chance to prove his worth, excel, win. There's only one way to get the best of an argument. That is to avoid it. Remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Difference between good thinking and bad thinking is this. Good thinking deals with causes and effect, leads to logical, constructive planning. Bad thinking frequently leads to tension and nervous breakdown. Give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. Criticisms are like homing pigeon. They always return home. Find yourself and be yourself. Remember, there is no one else on earth like you. Those who do not know how to fight, worry, die young. Can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people, and you can in 2 years by trying to get people interested in you. The average person is more interested in her own name than in all the other names on earth put together. Criticism is dangerous because it wounds a person's precious pride, hurts his sense of importance, and arouses resentment. If a person will devote their time to securing facts in an impartial, objective way, their worries will usually evaporate in the light of knowledge. You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him to find it within himself. Do the hard jobs first. The easy jobs will take care of themselves. Every act you have ever performed was performed because you wanted something. In our interpersonal relations, we should never forget that all our associates are human beings and hunger for appreciation. People are not interested in you. They're not interested in me. They're interested in themselves, morning, noon, and after dinner. We sit there and complain that we're not being given opportunities or chances. Meanwhile, moments like these are there to be seized. The chance is there. Take it. Did you ever stop to think that a dog is the only animal that does not have to work for a living?